Tzivi here. I hope you're having a great day. I wanted to talk with you today about what I call Dr. Google. Now, in episode 6 that aired this week with Chava Ben Sion, amazing midwife, she mentioned how we tend to Google search our symptoms. We tend to Google search when we're not sure about something. And Google is an amazing tool. However, what happens today is something that I call Dr. Google. So in your pregnancy, or even in labor, certainly postpartum with your baby, we all have a tendency to Google search. And what this can lead to is a lot of overwhelm. Google is full of information, but there's information that's to the left, there's information that is to the right, and everywhere in between. And it is really difficult to know which information to listen to, especially if you're part of a Facebook group, a support group. These groups can be absolutely amazing, but you're always going to hear opinions on either side. Now, in the olden days, when I was a young mom, so we did not have Google quite yet. And the way that we parented or the things that we took care of were generally based on our moms or our friends, those kinds of information that was handed down. And there was some good in this. There was some bad in this, and there was some good in that situation. So one of the bad things was that we didn't know about things that we didn't know about, right? So herbal remedies, healthier ways of lifestyle or eating, or more natural childbirth perhaps than our moms had known about. A lot of this information was unknown. A lot of in my story, I discovered much of it on my own. But on the other hand, we also did not have overwhelm that can come with the Google searching and with the abundance of information that we have today. This can lead to a lot of self-doubt because as we're trying to look through the information, it's really difficult to know which things to pick, right? What do I try? Or sometimes we'll look up a symptom and the symptoms could be endless. Some of them are seriously frightening. And sometimes I'll write an email to my doctor, or I'll show up at the appointment and I'll say, okay, so I have these symptoms and Dr. Google told me this. What do you say? And he always laughs. He's like, oh, don't tell me about Dr. Google. Apparently, it is a physician's nightmare with patients self-diagnosing and sometimes getting absolutely hysterical. A lot of the times, things that we worry about are actually a problem only because we're worrying or we're obsessing about them. When my kids come to me with a problem or an ache or a pain, oftentimes I'll say to them, come back to me in 3 days. If it's hurting you in 3 days, please come back to me. Rarely has a child ever come, I don't even think ever come back, because if something's really a problem, they're in pain and they know it. Our bodies are amazing. I had a friend once whose son had a machala, had an illness where he didn't have pain sensors. So he could burn his hand and he wouldn't know it. Because we have pain, because things bother us, because something might itch or irritate. So our body alerts us that there really is a problem. But if we Google search every single ache and pain, every single symptom, everything that we're worried about, chances are we're going to work ourselves into a big ball of worry and stress that's not necessary, and it really takes away a lot of the fun. So here's an example. Let's say your family is an Ashkenazi family, okay? But you've decided you are going to even listen to only an Ashkenazi rabbi, an Ashkenazi rab. But there are many Ashkenazi rabbanim. You could start calling up hundreds of them, right? You could start Google searching all kinds of websites for any question, any shayla that you have. And especially if now you open it up and you decide you're going to listen to every rab, Ashkenazi and Sephardi and Hasidic and modern Orthodox and everywhere in between, the whole spectrum. That's what happens when you Google search. You're getting the entire spectrum of everybody's thought. So many of those thoughts are not even from rabbis, right? At least we're saying that I'm going to Google search a rab of some flavor of Judaism. He has some degree, he has some Masorah where he learned from the person before him. But you know what Google is full of, right? I tried this, it worked for me, and now suddenly I'm an expert, says everyone on Google. So a lot of the information is amazing. But my husband likes to call this rabbi searching, like Frankenstein Judaism, where you have little pieces put together from all kinds of walks of Judaism, all kinds of Torah, all mishmashed together. It just makes a monster. It doesn't make for a good derech, right? And Hashem wants us to walk on a certain derech, and that's okay. As I've said before, we have Kohanim, we have Levi'im, we have women, men, Am Yisrael. Everyone has their path. What's right for one is wrong for another. What's wrong for another is right for this person, right? I can't just decide that I want to be the Kohen Gadol tomorrow and walk in and start, building the Beit HaMikdash, get up and walk in and make sacrifices somewhere, even if the Beit HaMikdash was built, because that would be a sore, right? It's only appropriate for that person. So what's right for you, how you want to birth your baby, how you want to parent your child, those things are right for you. I again, you should Google search sometimes. I'm not saying that you should put blinders on and you should just do what your parents did or you should just do what your friend told you. But it's really good to pick like your nusach, right? If you decide your nusach Ashkenaz, because that's your Masorah, today you have to sort of decide that, right? You're not going to say, well, I'm a medical person because my parents were medical people. You still might want to be into alternative medicine or natural remedies, whatever it may be. So there is a certain amount of searching that you do have to do, but please don't get overwhelmed with it. I've seen so many ladies, and in my life, my children even, getting themselves completely worked up, completely. One of my daughters actually now, she decided she's just going to call me because her ideas match my ideas, and she knows that I have education and I know how to sift through Google, at least in certain matters, and to sift the information around and figure out what's good. So in general, she calls me. Sometimes I tell her, I want you to, do some Google searching on your own, do a little bit of research. Sometimes I can guide her to at least a basket of either support groups or articles or videos that she can do her own further research, or to buy a certain book so that she can continue her learning in a certain area. But at least she knows to call me for a little bit of guidance to get herself started, because once you get on the World Wide Web, sometimes it's very easy to fall down that rabbit hole. So I would like you to be calm and to remember that you're amazing and you're an amazing mom. You're an amazing mom to be. You're an amazing member of Neshei Yisrael. I want you to have a great day. Take a deep breath and give yourself a hug. And remember that I love you. Bye-bye.